margin lot. Ryan and Kevin, they're spitting the truth, keeping it real, keeping it orange and blue. Talking recruit, who's next in line? Line our pride, it's about that time. Orange and blue, yeah, that's how we do. Post-game vibes, breaking it through. Ryan and Kevin, the crew that you knew. Keeping it fresh, keeping it orange and blue. From the court to the field, every play, every step. Debating the cause where the game is at. Who's rising, who's falling, who's making the cut. Line 9 for life, never stuck in the rut. Okay, recruiting buzzer got the inside line. Post-game chatter, they're always on time. Breaking it down, they're the voices you trust. Orange and blue, yeah, they repping for us. Orange and blue, yeah, that's how we do. Post-game vibes, breaking it through. Ryan and Kevin, the crew that you knew. Keeping it fresh, keeping it orange and blue, yeah. So tune in, lean back, let the wisdom flow. Ryan and Kevin with the knowledge they throw. Line 9 Nation, this one's for you. Forever proud, keeping it orange and blue, yeah. Orange and blue, orange and blue, yeah. Orange and blue, orange and blue, yeah.
Thank you for joining us Sunday night, keeping it orange and blue. A lot obviously happened this week. Some good, some bad, all that in between for feast week here on Thanksgiving's upon us. A lot to be thankful for, Kev, that's for sure. But you were actually in Madison yesterday, so we're going to discuss that obviously at good length here to start the episode. We're going to talk some hoops, so we got to talk the Madison, Illinois, Wisconsin, preview Northwestern, and then we're going to talk Illinois, UConn Friday. So with that said, Kev, how was your weekend?
Yeah, man, I'm glad the Bears won today.
I was about to say, you did have a terrible sports weekend altogether.
Right.
I mean, you're 8-3. You're 8-3.
Yeah. And then Jason Ron throwing some salt in the wound too. So obviously I pulled for St. Joe there. I'm happy for Tony Reitz. Met him, head coach of Unity, good dude. So I hope Unity can win it. But man, this show's called Keeping It Orange and Blue, and all I know is that red made me blue on Saturday night. And
did you jump around at all?
No, I was so confident that, and this is my own stupid thoughts getting ahead of myself, that the jump around was going to be an empty house with just people in orange jumping around. And that certainly wasn't the case. And it's just,
yeah. And
it just sucks, man. It was just a complete, utter craptastic performance by everyone except for a very few guys. So since
you were there, okay, could you tell body language wise before the game, like they were just maybe kind of not in it, or you can't tell?
No. I mean, they were pretty hyped up on the sidelines. I just think that, I don't know, man. It just was like, it just didn't go our way. Like we just didn't execute on either side.
I was about to say though, I think sometimes there's more to it too than just bad luck and maybe some calls, some plays didn't go your way. I can say that, but to just have such a, I don't know, there was just like, to me, execution stunk, but like attention to detail. And then to me too, it's like, obviously guys were losing their cool. Right.
Yeah. And
then to me, just specific things that have reared their ugly head too many times this year, like the third and longs, just getting off the field. That has to be aggravating sitting there, dude. 3rd and 14. You're just like 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12.
You got a team at there. They've scored total 47 points in 7 Big Ten games coming into it, and they hang 27 on you. Like they can't pass, and we're playing a soft zone. Our offense can't keep the one guy playing with a ton of heart on his feet. We couldn't open a hole for the running game to save our lives. The play calling was generic. There was zero creativity. And then
are you in the wing here who you feel like even Barry Lundy had called a crappy game?
Oh yeah, I'd give Barry a D minus, a F, a grade. Like I think that it was bad. The whole, I mean, outside of like Gabe Akis, Hank Beatty, Colin Dixon, Luke Altmaier, like
Yeah, because I saw people criticizing Luke too, and I'm thinking,
no, can't do it, can't do it, nope, no. Guy was a warrior, man. Just getting his ass beat all night and stuff. Like that one run he had down the sideline, took a big shot, and just man, he was up before the defender, dude. I was like, that's awesome. Just I can't. It was so that was not a Brett. That did not look like a Brett Bielema coach team.
yeah.
You know, we have the punt snafu again. That's the third major punt mishap that we've had this season at least.
And if you remember in that game, there was one other punt that hit the ground. Crimmins had to pick it up and scoop it up. You know,
right.
And that could have went for a loss. The special teams unit this year, punting wise, has been a problem. You know,
and Alano misses the field goal. He kicked that ball so high, and it was a little bit windy in there. I don't know what he was trying to do. He needed to drive that ball through the wind. It just sucked, dude. It was, you know. Listen, I've been plenty of Illinois games where I expected us to lose, and I've been in plenty of situations where I thought, you know, we got beat by a better team. This is literally one of the first times. Like I can look at the Washington game, and that was a game where we lose by 17 points, and we were playing with them. Like it should have been better, but it's a good Washington team. It's at their place. We played a dog shit Wisconsin team. That's not a good team. That's not. I mean, their punter was their leading passer against Washington. They're on their fifth string quarterback. They're on like their fourth string running back. And
I will give Wisconsin has a good defense. They're not Ohio State though. Like
the defense is really solid. The defense is good. I mean, no doubt about it. I'm not going to take that away from them one bit.
But again, but they're not Ohio State. And look what Illinois was able to do against Ohio State. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
I mean,
Illinois was able to move the ball up and down on Ohio State several times. Should have had 20 plus points.
And they didn't get Luke sacked 5 times. I mean, the inability us to run the ball at all. The running game was just completely non-existent. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the 1-yard runs to Khalil Valentine were frustrating. The Aiden Lawfrey looked like he was the one guy who actually got some.
I was really happy to see Aiden play. I think he's probably our most complete back. I think he's still been banged up. Obviously, that's why he hasn't been playing much. But it was just a turd fest, man. It was just a turd fest, dude.
Yeah, Jason Ron, Illinois defense has allowed 35.6 points on the road this year.
How do you give up 19 total points to Maryland and Rutgers, who are much better offenses than Wisconsin, and then come out there and lay an egg? And listen, I'm going to criticize the scheme. Aaron Henry's forgot more about calling defensive plays than I'll ever know. But literally, I don't understand if you're playing a team like Wisconsin why you're not playing press man coverage and loading the box. Make them beat you over the top because they can't do it. They cannot do it. And we got great pressure. We sacked him 5 times. Like we got after the quarterback. We did fine there. Like I would have been playing press man, stacking boxes. And I just didn't see it. They were hitting us with this little dunk. The only thing they could hit us on is little 5-yard outs or crossers.
And then again, though, if you not noticed, the tackling was piss poor too, Kev. Just dog shit tackling. I think that one. Do you remember the play? Joey Barna had a guy. He could have stopped him on the edge over there, 43 on a little, and then he just whiffs completely, and then the guy gets like 9 or 10 yards, which we could have forced a punt. It's just like, what is going on here? Like, again, on 3rd and 11, right? Just first series of the game, Kev, for Wisconsin. You have them backed up on 3rd and 11. They throw a little 5-yard slant.
Yep.
2 guys miss a tackle, and then he's able to just get past the sticks. And that happened 4 times on that drive where they just got to the sticks because of a missed tackle. And that's the kind of stuff, then you hear Matthew Bailey in the post game saying, yeah, we could have prepared better this week. Like I'm not going to put all, the preparation on Bielema. I guess it's going to come down to him. But unless he's just telling everybody just everything, just making up everything. And oh yeah, the guys prepared well. Wednesday they played. We got some things corrected. Thursday they looked ready to go. They played. That was a great practice. Then why are the players saying we could have prepared better? You know what I mean? And then they interviewed Miles Scott too, and Miles Scott basically had no answers as to why they can't be consistent, because that's what he was asked. He said, "Why has your consistency this year been such a big deal?" He has no clue. He couldn't tell you. He doesn't know why. So it's and Kevin, last year's defense, I think way better than this year's. A lot of the same guys are there though.
Yeah, and we add James Thompson and Kurt Neal and Leon Lowry. I mean, this defense should be better. This defense should be better than what. And last year's defense had moments where it was bad, and I just.
And Jason, no one thinks that Northwestern is going to be an easy game Saturday.
No chance.
Nobody thinks it's going to be easy. But to think that I watched Minnesota put 400 yards on them and score 35 points. I'm not.
That's the first game they've ever won at Wrigley, by the way.
Yeah. Northwestern's defense is not Wisconsin's defense, and they're definitely not Ohio State's defense. So I'm not going to sit here and think that it's going to be some game where Luke Altmaier is going to get sacked 5 times, but we're going to get to it. It's going to be a tough test, but that's okay. It's a rivalry game. So, but your overall process and take here as to, where the team, what do they have to do, to get past this Wisconsin game, and why such an old team? How does this happen to such an old, savvy veteran team? 30 seniors.
I think maybe you're feeling yourself. I don't know. There's just, we found ways to win last year, and I think they just think they can just show up. And I thought they could show up and beat a 4-string quarterback, and the fact is they couldn't. And
yeah,
listen, it's such a weird situation, right? Because what does that loss actually mean? A lesser bowl game?
It takes away the Florida game, yeah.
Right, a lesser bowl game, and so it's but. It leads to what Brandon says. What's the direction of this program? I know there's a lot of people that want to see a new defensive coordinator next year, and by the product on the field, I get that. I'm not going to jump into that and pound the table for it. My biggest concern, or my biggest thought about what Illinois was going to do, is you wouldn't willingly replace both coordinators if you're Bret Bielema when you have zero pressure. Bret Bielema is under no pressure from Whitman. Let's be real here. This is a team that stacked back-to-back winning seasons for the first time in 35 years, going back-to-back bowl games for the first time in 15 years. Great. He's under zero pressure. So the thought process is that Barry Lunny is going to go get hired by somebody. He gets hired by, let's say, UTSA, who they want. Arkansas wants to take Traylor from UTSA, supposedly. So UTSA, familiar stomping grounds, close to where Lunny's from, would make sense. Recruits the area, coach there. They still want him. When you watch the Maryland performance, which was not good offensively either, there was very little dynamic. Is that what you? Did he hurt his chances to get hired? Because if he hurts his chances to get hired, then maybe Bret does. That does open up the opportunity to want to replace a defensive coordinator. And listen, I'll cheer for Aaron. I don't care where he goes. I cheer for the man. The defensive coordinator aspect was not good this week.
Yeah. And again, we're just talking about the position of the defensive coordinator. I've already made my statement on Twitter yesterday about, and we're going to get to the offensive line next, Kev. And so, but nothing about Bart Miller or Aaron Henry is personal, because I know for a fact they're both great dudes, and I know for a fact they're both great husbands and great fathers. I've seen it. So I'm clearing that, because I get tired of people coming at me when I'm speaking about them as coaches. So, but I think that this year, I think if Aaron Henry, if things had kept up from Rutgers to Maryland, and even if let's say you beat Wisconsin 20-17, okay, whatever, not great, but not terrible, whatever, you win. And then you know, next week, let's say you won 28-21 or something like
Who
that.
cares? You find ways to win games.
Yeah, just find ways. But when your defense is a big reason as to why the team didn't win, and the constant issues of fixing things like third and longs, like they have to be the worst third and long team defensively I've ever seen, Kevin.
Ever seen? I mean, we've seen some terrible defensive teams too. So
yeah, so and it's just like when people say, and I saw this on Twitter. Someone said, I think the chances are better for the other team to pick it up on 3rd and 12 than for us to stop them. I genuinely think that might be right. And that is what drives me nuts. Now, before I'm reading what Jason says about Bart Miller, I will say that, you know, Kevin, this offensive line this year was supposed to be one of the strong suits, right?
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
and
you got all these guys back and all this seniority
and so but there were a handful of games here where they were able to run the ball pretty well. But I mean, I will say, again, some not good defenses, but right. Still, and they have played a tougher schedule and some really good teams. But this year, man, there's been so many times where you just can't run the ball and you can't protect Luke. And if you can't do either of those on offense, that makes it really tough. And so they've had to incorporate Luke running the ball because otherwise there's no running game.
Right.
And you know, and that's another big issue. And to say, you know, to have guys like Priestley and JC Davis and Gasky, who, you know, we hear about how great that left side is. You know, JC Davis had a rough game yesterday. You know, I know their edge rushers are pretty good, but
yeah, 17's a pro for Wisconsin. That guy was really good.
22 as well, right? Was that 22?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the holding call on JC was pretty weak, but
I will say too, that whole fourth quarter, Kev, I don't know if you noticed when Illinois was trying to make their comeback, they're rushing 4 and getting to Luke Altmaier with 6 guys protecting. They had 5 offensive linemen and Caden Fagan back there, who's like softer than a wet, you know, a pillow back there trying to protect. And I just don't understand why he has such a hard time using his body to you know, I don't know if he realizes he is 250 pounds, but he is basically like holding up a blanket and just running through it. So you got 6 guys back there, 5 offensive linemen and Fagan, and 4 guys were still getting to Luke in that fourth quarter. If anybody wants to go watch the replay, go for it. Because I'm sitting here going, man, there's a swarm in Luke. Like, how many guys did they send? 4. And that's what it looked like. Luke Altmaier getting thrown around, no time to get to, you know, throwing the ball in the dirt, you know, on the turf because he's got no time. 4 guys were rushing in the fourth quarter. Yeah, sure, maybe on 3rd and long they blitzed once or twice, but I'm telling you, just that's why Wisconsin was able to play, you know, secondary. They got 6 or 7 guys back there, Kevin, you know, because you only have to rush 4 guys. So to me, there's a problem when your 5 linemen can't stop 4 defensive linemen. And then when you put your running back there to help protect and you still can't, there is a huge, I think, disconnect somewhere in here. And to me, that's why I think there needs to be some sort of reset, Kevin, somewhere, because you can't have this group of older guys and have this much disconnect, you know, this late in the season, and just think that that's not going to affect the younger guys for next year. They see what's going on, you know? So, yeah. And I'm not saying fire one particular person. I'm saying that I don't think the offensive line has ever really improved under Bart Miller.
Can we just stop? Like SDR, I get you're frustrated, whatnot. Illinois has won 7 games or more in 3 of the last 4 seasons. You have to go back 35 years. 35 years for that to happen. Illinois has had its 3rd winning season in 4 years. 35 years. We've gone through coaches like Turner and Zook and Beckman and Keepin and Lovie Smith. I'm sorry. Bret Bielema has been the furthest thing from a disappointment. The disappointment is that he's changed your expectation levels from what you expect. I walked into Wisconsin on Saturday night in Camp Randall Stadium and expected to beat the Badgers. Not in the last 30 years has that happened. that you walked in with that expectations. So yeah, we're disappointed, but Bret Bielema has not been a disappointment. It was not a good game. Fine, call it what it is. We're not a very good. No, he's definitely not Signetti. You know who's not Signetti? Everybody not named Signetti. Kalen DeBoer sucks too, right? Because Alabama's lost 2 games this year, and Nick Saban didn't lose 2 games in the regular season ever. So maybe we should just hire Nick Saban in this massive football factory we are. By the way, I've now been to all the original Big Ten stadiums. Other than Purdue, no other town is as small as Champaign-Urbana. Like what? Like stop it with this nonsense. Like
I will say this, and I am 100% agreement with Kevin here. People who are bitching and complaining and saying that Bret Bielema is should be held accountable. He's not the guy, blah, blah, blah. The fact that Illinois has 3 or 4 games left and they've already become bowl eligible multiple times now. Think about this. And this is from a lot of the fan base. Just being bowl eligible and getting to a bowl game is pretty cool and pretty acceptable for a lot of people. And while I would say I'm cool with that every year if they're competitive while they do it, I think the only problem I have this year is that we were, when your coach tells you, we're going to be competing.
It is year 5, and we're winning back. Yes, it's year 5. SDR. It's year 5, and we're going to a bowl game again. We're gonna beat Northwestern on Saturday. We're gonna be 8-4. We're gonna have 8 wins for the 3 times in 4 years. Never been done in school history. I don't give a shit. Yes, it's year 5. He's doing a great job in year 5. Yes. He's doing a great job.
Bret Bielema is doing a great job. How's Mike Loxley doing at Maryland? How's Mike Norvell been doing at Florida State?
How's Lance Leopold doing in Kansas?
Yeah, how's Lance Leopold doing at Kansas? Not well. How's Chris Kleeman doing at Kansas State?
Right.
I mean, I could just keep going, you guys. Luke Fickell's got the better of us. How's he doing at Wisconsin? I mean, back-to-back 4 to 5 win seasons. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's the program. It's not a game, right? Where's the program? Where's the program gone since Bret Bielema's got here, guys? Think about that. Its standard is set at something that's never been before. And I think, to me, that's really what you look at. You see I don't know if you saw what Jason just said. Basically that a very large donor who moved money from basketball to football has said that he's pulling his commitment if staffing changes aren't made,
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be some. We just don't know which ones. I think there's a couple. I think Robbie Disher's a great guy too. Yeah. But, Bret Bielema takes his special teams very serious. So I don't think he's super, super happy with how that's going. But anyway, so if you are in the group that Bret Bielema hasn't done or lived up to what he should be, I just don't think you're living in reality, because if people think in year 5 Bret Bielema should have Illinois, being a perennial top 10 team, that's just not realistic, especially with how many other teams, Ohio State's, Michigan's, Penn State's, Oregon's, for God's goodness sake, you don't think USC would like to be there? And think about where they're at. They're really not much more ahead of Illinois. USC and all the trajectory, the tradition of that program, and they aren't really better off than Illinois is right now. Well, Lincoln, go ahead.
Well, I've said this over and over again. Kurt Signetti has done a rebuild at Indiana that's never been seen before, ever, nowhere, nobody ever. The Barry Alvarez's resurrection of Wisconsin was incredible. Frank Beamer at Vatech was incredible.
Justin Wilcox got fired at Cal, because all he does is win 6 games. That's about it. What's that got to do with what Bret Bielema's doing? Nothing.
Yeah, and I don't. This is just fucking nonsense. It's fucking nonsense to talk that Bret Bielema hasn't done a great job at Illinois. We're doing things the program has never done. Stop it with the Signetti comparisons. First of all, no
one else is doing that.
His assistants are going to get poached. Francisco Mendoza is going to the NFL. Kamaro's going to the NFL. Fisher's going they have a lot of guys that are gone this year. Let's see what happens next year. Let's see what happens next year. See what happens when they do in the playoff, and see how Indiana fans react to that, because now their expectations have been changed. Like we discussed.
Yeah, exactly. The first year that they don't go to the CFP, Indiana fans are going to want his head probably. So
we're paying you all this money, which is, whatever. Yeah, they are, and he's earned it. So,
yeah, I mean, Jason's correct here. Folks need to realize Bret isn't going anywhere while Josh is here.
It does matter, SDR. It does matter that Signetti screwed it up because it's an outlier. It's not realistic. It's not replicable. There's nothing you cannot repeat it. It's never been done before. It's never going to be done again. It does. Stop. It's a fairy tale. It's a fable. It's nonsense. Illinois is a hyper-competitive program in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Not at football. We haven't been that since I was 12 years old. I'm 47.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Kev, too, as we move forward, there's only one person on here who thinks that. If you look at everybody else here, Brandon, Jason.
But I love the dude because he always contributes, and I appreciate it. And it stokes my fire. It gets me fired up. So.
And that's okay. We're going to move on. And it's okay. SDR, you have a right to think that. So, as to me, we heard Bret Bielema's comments. Bret Bielema's comments, which were the first time he actually seemed to say we are going to be making some defensive corrections after the season, but we have to focus on Northwestern. Like, I think he realizes that there is no more excuses for giving up so many, big plays or third and longs and, 35.6 points per game on the road. He knows all this crap.
Right.
But after the Washington game, he knew that there were 4 very, very winnable games. And if you say something that could hurt someone's perspective or make a man feel like he's not going to be back, then that's definitely not going to help your team win games. No
turkey for Joe.
We have not forgotten about the Lovie Smith era, Brandon. I can promise you that. So the Red Box Bowl, baby, I'm not going to forget.
Brandon Peters.
Yeah, Brandon Peters. All right, so we're not giving. I don't really feel like doing a champagne toast, to be honest with you, for the game yesterday. But we're going to get to it really quickly here, Kev. We're going to preview Northwestern. So Northwestern bowl eligible, okay?
Yep,
38-35.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, 38-35 victory. It was a good win for them, I think the fact that they weren't able to beat Michigan after turning them over 5 times the week before, they let Michigan off the hook. I got to be honest. But David Braun has done a nice job with the team. With they don't have tons of high end talent. They're just kind of hardworking kid, go getters that. I think I don't think this is even kids Pat Fitzgerald recruited wise. They have a couple really good. They have the running back Tomawa. I'm trying to look at his last name, Kev. Maybe you know how to pronounce it if you look it up. But he's pretty good. I think Hyman played pretty well against Minnesota. They had a second running back that played pretty well. But Preston Stone was very impressive.
Yeah.
Against Minnesota. Preston Stone didn't have one incompletion in the second. It looked like in the second half against Minnesota. He was an SMU transfer, so Kevin Jennings pretty much took his starting spot.
Right. Yeah.
And then he's been pretty good for them of late. Nothing about Northwestern really stands out. Like, they don't have a super dynamic passing game. They had one of their better ones. They had one of their better passing games of the year against Minnesota.
Yeah, he was 25 of 31. That's impressive.
But really,
they had a complete offensive performance. They threw the ball for 25 for 30. They threw the ball for 300 yards. They rushed for 200. Komalafe went for 129. Yep. He's a little bit like an Antoine Raymond build type back. Listen. Northwestern won that game. They beat Minnesota. Go look at Minnesota. That's not a good game. That's not a good team. Minnesota's yet to win a game away from home this season. They're not very good, man. They got boosted by a Friday night win. We're at home now. It's at night for us. It's senior day. We should have the momentum. I think we'll figure out a way to win this game. I think that these guys are pretty pissed off, want to win the hat. So
True.
Yeah,
And then,
Northwestern's going to come play really hard. So
yeah, this isn't a game where if Illinois' mentality is what it was against Wisconsin, they're going to lose.
yeah, Wild, good receiver, possession type kid.
Yeah.
11 grabs for 100 yards. He just does the little nitty gritty stuff. And then Hayden Illigion, the second, had a big game against him. 6'4", tall kid. So we probably want to put Clark on him. Probably Cox on Wild. We'll see. It's just oh, by the way, I want to commend something in the Wisconsin game. On the long touchdown run, I'm sitting in the stands. And I'm like, turn around, Tori. And the Wisconsin receiver, as the crowd starts cheering, and he put his hands. That was brilliant, just absolutely brilliant. So we'll tip my cap to that guy.
Where were you sitting? Where were you sitting?
It was coming right at. I was in that corner.
Okay, on the Illinois side or Wisconsin side?
I was on the Illinois sideline. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because like I saw Cox, and then I think it was what's his name? Jaheim Clark's guy too, because Clark was just running around out there too, like a chicken with his head cut off. And I was wondering, I was like, "Where's our secondary?" And I was like, "Oh, that's right, the guys were deking them." Right. Like a sack fly, right? A deke.
Yeah. And the crowd's going to suck, but the Wisconsin crowd wasn't very good, and they still played inspired football. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be things here we can name. Oh, it could be this, it could be that. I expect definitely one of the bigger senior day crowds they've had, though. I mean, as we've alluded to, I've been to senior day games where there was like 10,000 people in the crowd, and I don't expect that this year. I think there's going to be way more people here than Northwestern will have on their senior nights, again, at Wrigley or even where they've had. I think we were at the Illinois Northwestern game. What was it? Sidney Brown and Chase's last year, correct?
Yeah.
How many people they have there?
No, the year before that was bad. 21. It was cold. It was wet. Jake Hansen's last game, he didn't play. He was on the sideline in a boot. That was a rough one.
I remember that one well. But yeah, so I expect a good crowd, probably 40 to 50,000, probably 45. I'm gonna say.
I'd be shocked. I imagine it's probably like 35, 40. So,
but that's plenty to be loud, though. That's plenty to be loud.
Well, yeah, because I thought I wasn't gonna go, so. I just share it with you guys here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Love the arguments. It's all good stuff here. I told Ryan I was just done. I wasn't gonna go to the game. I was so mad Saturday night. Oh my goodness. And their fans. Some of their fans are really good people. Most of their fans are dicks.
Were they pissing you off? Is that what was going on?
Oh, part of it, man. Part of it. So.
Yeah, the thing is then they have no room to talk either. Like I would just, I get you are different than I am about how you handle that stuff, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, congrats. What bowl game are you guys going to be at?
I told the one guy just doing that to me on the way out. I was like, have fun at your bowl game. I was like,
yeah, exactly. So I will be there too Saturday night. It's going to be cold, but so that's what we talked about. Northwestern, what they do. They don't throw it a ton, and if they do throw it, it's not going to be anything deep, probably more middle to short to intermediate stuff. We talked about Wilde, but Illinois offensively, I will say they're going to have more. They're going to have more time to throw it this week. I've also noticed, teams have had some success running on Northwestern.
Yeah,
but is this offensive line going to play inspired? I would hope so. It's a senior group, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be their last game for a lot of these guys. So, And I will say the Music City Bowl in Nashville probably is there if Illinois can win this game. So,
yeah, and it's nice for a lot of folks. It's a short trip. Yeah, sure.
I know it kind of bums you out too. I know you wanted to go to Florida, so
yeah.
I think maybe there was a little bit of that there. So anyway, I think Luke Altmaier is going to go out with a bang. I really do. I think it's going to be in the mid 30s. It could have snowed earlier in the day, by the way. I think it's going to be like 28 in the 30 in the morning with like flurries and stuff. And then seriously, I know it doesn't look
the 72-hour forecast. I've had some friends that worked in weather. 72-hour forecast is where it's at. So go look on Wednesday. That'll be Wednesday or Thursday. Go really look at it. It'll be a good time to see what the forecast is going to say. So
yeah, so but we know this. It's not going to be a warm one, and that's all right. Yeah. So
God, it looks terrible.
What'd you say?
I have to go buy some long underwear.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, without giving specifics, with your prediction, I know you just kind of are we gonna give it this week on Fade the Deuce?
Are we gonna do Fade the Deuce? I don't know. I'm sorry about last week. That's on me a little bit. I think
the specifics of a spread. I think it's 7. So we could just say you don't have to give me the point total. You think Illinois is going to pull it out Saturday?
I do. Yeah, I think Illinois will cover this one. I think Illinois will win this game. I think there's enough pride in that locker room that these guys band around each other and find a way. So,
yep, you know, and I'm in agreement there. I genuinely, honestly do. I would be I will be worried, but I will know that there's going to be big changes with the staff if Illinois crumbles against Northwestern. That to me tells you that the players have been lost. That tells me that they don't really care what's going on, and because at the end of the day, these guys have spent their blood, sweat, and tears in 4, sometimes 5 years here, and this is your final home game, and you can't show up for that. Right. That will tell me everything I need to know about where they're going. So I'm going to stick with you here. I think Illinois is going to win. I don't know if they cover or not. It could be 6 points. It could be 3 points. I don't care.
I don't really care.
Yeah, but I think Illinois, as long as you get the W, it doesn't matter how many points. So that's that. Now let's get to the basketball team here who, man, Kev, I think they let one get away from them against Bama. But I do know that you're really weren't too upset really about the loss. Obviously, that's a really good team. And by the way, Purdue did not play them with they had a guy who played his first game of the year against Illinois. He was I'm trying to think of his name.
Yeah, great energy guy off the bench.
Yeah, he was blocking Merkovic's shots in the second half. He was getting rebounds and putbacks. That dude's good. He came from Charleston State. So you can tell this Bama team's going to be a force. But the fact that Illinois could have won this game had they just made 75% from the line.
Yeah, it was frustrating because it was a game they should have won. It was a game they could have won. I walked away from that thinking like, dude, we got 10% of one of our top 3 players and Tommy. Like, I think there's the things that are coming with this. Like, we got a great first half from Keaton Wagler and David Merkovich, and then not a good second half from those guys. Like, it just was like, that's okay. Like, it was okay to lose that game. I came out of that game really confident in who this team can be. And so it didn't bother me a bit. I told you it all. I was like the most even keeled after the loss that I've ever been. Just like, yeah, it's fine. That's I'd love to see them again in March if that's the case. I really don't like Nate Oates, but I thought he was really complimentary of the team, and I appreciated that from him. So,
yeah, and I will say this too. I mean, he said a lot of very good things about Illinois being a national championship contender. That Kylan Boswell's a dog and does all these things well. He's super tough to guard. He's an elite defender. He talked about Big Z, Big T, having guys 7'1", 7'2" who can knock threes down, and getting Stojakovic back and how tough he is to guard, once he gets a full head of steam. There was a lot of obviously really good complimentary. And basically did say if Illinois just makes free throws, they win the game. So,
yeah. He knew what was up. So,
but then we get to Illinois toyed around with their food with Long Island on Saturday. And it was good to see, though, Mihailo Petrovic back, though. Even in his short minutes against Alabama, dude, I thought he looked really good. I think.
Yeah, he had some moments where some things were like, you're like, what's going on there? A little bit of the turnovers defensively. I think that people see him as food right now. They're kind of going at him. But man,
he held his own quite a bit, though. I mean,
his plus minus numbers were really off, and I'm not putting a lot on him for the plus minus, but
5 assists.
Assists.
Yeah. 5 assists. He had, I think, a couple rebounds and hit his only shot from deep.
Yeah.
And Boswell was very complimentary of him after the game about how he really didn't get abused, though, defensively. They did attack him. And he forced a couple really tough shots that, of course, if you watched the Alabama-Purdue game, was it Philo? Philon was terrible against Purdue, okay?
Yeah.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, and he was wide open. And I was thinking in my head, I guarantee you he's going to come to the United Center, and he's going to make anything. And, of course,
he's a damn good basketball player. Like that was
an anomaly against Purdue, but I mean, you just kind of know that that's kind of what's coming. So, but then was really good at the end of the game. Your take so far on what we've seen from Stojakovic, man, about him getting he seems to be tough if he gets the corner on people to get to the hoop.
Yeah, some things that you really got to like. I mean, you've got now 3 games that he's had where he's been like 10 of 15, 11 of 16. It was 11 of 16 against both Tech and Bama, and then 10 of 15 yesterday. Like to see if Wade he get to the free throw line a little bit more and start making some. I think it might be in his head a little bit, so you'd like to see him shoot a few more free throws and figure out where that's going to go for him. Because I don't think he's going to be a bad free throw shooter. I just don't think that's who he is. However, I worry about his passing, and I think he's got opportunities to dish the ball at times. He's got open teammates, and he's just not doing it, and that is a little bit frustrating for me because I think that's going to unlock some things for the team overall if he can be more of a distributor. But he's a baller. I mean, I talked about it. I thought a lot of people were sleeping on him big time coming into this whole season. And, I mean, like sleepers are like, well, is he even going to play over Jake Davis? And I'm like, come on, man. Like, get out of here with that.
Yeah, look, I know we talk about them a lot on here. And look, Greg means well. Carter, is kind of a silly guy, but they don't really know much about the guys Illinois inherits. And I know they talk about them a lot to get a lot of fan interaction. But that's why if they talk about Illinois stuff, they're just getting interaction from fans.
Right.
Because they had no clue about Mahalo. They didn't know about Damas. They didn't know about KJ last year. They don't know about a lot of these guys that Illinois gets. But they eventually learn, like Big Merc, and then they become their biggest fans all of a sudden because they didn't know that they were any good. So, it just takes time. Stojakovic, though, should be somebody you knew was going to be good because what he already did at the Division I level. So I will say that what we can see with Tomislav, you can just tell, man, he just needs another couple games to get that, because he is so slow off the ground still.
Right.
He doesn't have much. Doesn't have much lift. He can tell he's favoring, his leg a little bit.
Yeah.
It really hurt against Bama though when he was in. You could just tell he was just slow to get off the ground, to even try to rebound. But Big Z had himself a dunk fest against LIU. I think they need to utilize that a little bit more with Big Z. The pick and roll and, 7'2", and he's got some nice hops, nice arms, length to utilize that. But I think Keaton Wagler, man, the more he grows in confidence, how special do you think he's going to be?
Oh, absolutely. He's just, I would really like it for him to be back another year. So I'm okay when he has a little bit of struggles. I'd really like to see what he could do is grow in this team. But I'm just really confident with this team. I don't know what, this week will be interesting. Obviously, UT Rio Grande Valley is not the team that came in here a couple of years ago that was the worst. They were like the worst team in the country. I think they're
better than LIU, but they're not. Let's see this. They're not. Who have we played earlier in the year? They're probably maybe the best or the second best team after Bama and Texas Tech. But again, they're not. I'm not worried about us having a close game against them tomorrow night.
No, not at all. It'll be interesting to see how the UConn game goes. I don't know if Mullins will be back. They got tough guards.
Or Paris Reed.
Silas Demery, yeah. Will Silas Reed? Will he be back? With Silas Demery, Solo Ball, and then obviously Alex Caravan's been there, won 2 titles. I think that Alabama probably is a really tough matchup for us because how quick and athletic they are. This is not.
UConn is not.
UConn is not that. UConn is not nearly that athletic. They're good. There's going to be a good team. Mullins, you know, it would give us a better chance to win that game. Hey, we lost a game without a guy. I'll take beating the team without a guy. That'll be just fine in my opinion. So
and Solo Ball's going to be the toughest. He's good. I watched the Arizona game, and Solo Ball, you know, once he gets, you know, rolling downhill, man, he can pull up from 17. He can hit the open 3. But yeah, Demery was good. He had a triple-double, I guess, today against Bryant.
Yeah, tough guard.
Eric Drive, their big man, he's a freshman. He struggles at times from the line and just, you know, we have older guys too, not necessarily going to push him around, but, you know, we're going to stretch him out. I can tell you that. They're going to have him out, making him uncomfortable. So, you know, I've watched a couple of the UConn games this year. I watched a good chunk of the BYU game.
A guy I really like is a Jaden Ross kid, comes off the bench for him, pretty solid player. But no, hey, listen, Reed didn't play today. Mullins didn't play today. We'll see how it goes for Black Friday.
Yeah, so
Reed is solid.
Terrace Reed's been their best player this year when he plays.
Kind of shocked me that he is.
I remember him from Michigan.
How good he's been. So.
Yeah. So, but anyway, Illinois got two hoops matchups this week. I'm a little irritated because I'll be sadly having to work Friday, and of course, 11:30 a.m. It's like, come on, man. You would have loved I would have loved a later tip. That's a hell of a game to have at 11:30 a.m. Especially
send up for sports day. Watch that, then watch the Bears for me. I'm kind of loving it. So
yeah,
watch some more feast week, but college basketball. This is where college basketball really takes off. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, Illinois though, another big marquee matchup right around Thanksgiving. Last year they had Arkansas on Thanksgiving.
Yep.
This year they got UConn and MSG on Black Friday. So
yeah, like you just think about some games this week is fun for. I know we got a lot of hoops heads here, but like you got St. John's, Iowa State tomorrow, Gonzaga, Bama tomorrow. Gonzaga could flat out score the Rock, so can Bama. That should be an up and down game. Tennessee and Houston on Tuesday, Michigan and Auburn on Tuesday. Like, dude, this week is when it gets starts to get a lot of fun. North Carolina, Michigan State, 2 teams of probably 2 of the most surprising teams in the country, in my opinion, from where they're at. Duke and Arkansas, and on Friday, along with that, Purdue play. I thought there would be more, but no, I think there'll be other games that are part of little championships and stuff like that. I just enjoy this time of year. It's fun. So.
I will, Feast week with the Maui Invitational coming up and all that good stuff. So yeah, it is a great week for sports, no doubt. But yeah, so just seeing that this team that was getting healthy, I made a Final Four prediction, Kev. I definitely think this team has what it takes though to do that. They just need to stay healthy. You look through their Big Ten schedule. It's going to be fun because Nebraska is undefeated right now. They look good. And they come to Champaign. Ohio State's undefeated. And they're Illinois' first Big Ten matchups in Columbus.
Yep.
So Illinois got a fun, tough kind of early season Big Ten schedule too. It basically picks up here after tomorrow night's Rio Grande Valley. They got UConn,
Texas River, Rio Grande Valley.
Yeah.
Northeast suck your mama state. So.
It's just Jacksonville School for the Blind. So they've got UConn Friday. They have Tennessee and Nashville the next week. Yeah. And then it gets right to Ohio State, Nebraska, Missouri. It's getting right to it. So not tons of cupcakes left for Illinois. I think they've got 2 more left in between in there, by the time New Year hits. So we're going to know a lot more about this team, Kevin, by Christmas. So it'll be fun. All right, Kev, we'll get to you. We'll finish up here. We'll get to final thoughts here. I'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. We're we're a football program that for the past 5 years has been consistently difficult to play for other teams, and we didn't play well on Saturday night. I think it was one of the worst games in the Bret Bielema era, if I'm being honest. We are a team, like I said, we win Saturday. That's 3 seasons in the past 4 years with 8 wins. I'm 47 years old, dude. It was 1983, 1989, 1990, 2001, 2007. That's it for 8-win seasons, other than 22, 24, and what can be 25. So, yeah, I was pissing in my Cheerios. I was mad, butt hurt for Saturday night like I haven't been in a long time. And but the seniors deserve our support. There's a lot of guys that have done great things for this school. Luke Altmaier, a top 3 in all the passing records just about. Gabe Ack is second on school history in sacks. Got a chance to get a double-digit sack season, which would be really pretty cool. Hank Beatty, just what he's done, local kid, Rochester, it's just, I think that a lot of these guys, Dylan Rosiak's left it out there. A lot of these guys, Miles Scott, his path, a lot of these guys deserve our support. So I will be there. Just come support your guys, man. It's your team. That's what winning programs do. They support their teams.
That's right. And I will say that too. If you look at Iowa, they were 6-4 on senior day against a bad Michigan State team. While they should have lost the game, they didn't.
Should have, yes.
Yeah, they come. Guess what? They packed the house.
Yep.
And they supported their guys.
Yep.
As much as we can talk about coaching changes, what we're pissed off about, at the end of the day, we cheer and we root for them because of the guys on that field.
Yep.
Without the players out there, there is no program.
Right.
So everybody he just made mention of deserves it, and there's a bunch of other guys too that we don't talk about much that this is their last game.
Guys who leave it all on the field for special teams, like a Tyler Strain.
Yeah, our guy T. Strain, who's been on here, it's his final game. He could have went and started at some lesser school. He could have went to Florida Atlantic, right, and started down there and played the whole year, and but he's like, you know what? I want to stay in the culture of Illinois football, where I've been comfortable, where I've had bled with these boys, and I've played with them for 5 years, and that's why you should go. Me and Kevin will be there. If you can go, I know it's the holiday weekend. It's going to be cold. Try to go. It's. I think all those guys deserve it. So with that said, subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't subscribed to us. If you listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we do appreciate that as well. We should, as long as Kevin wants to this week, if he's not too busy. I know he's back in the home area for the holidays. We could try to get a Fade the Deuce on this week, so we'll get it figured out. Other than that, enjoy your Thanksgiving week, and we'll see you next weekend. Swami out.
ILL.